All right. We're going to break down a video that someone sent to me, and I was like, meh, okay, it's kind of good. Let's dive into it. So this is Sarah with the Change with Him Real, Raw, Redeemed podcast. I'm super excited that you're here. So let's dive right into getting into the change with him. And this is the key component. This is the missing piece. So many people are missing. And they're like, why am I missing a piece? I watch videos like this one that are supposed to be inspiring, motivating, and get me up and going. Things like this that are like, if you're still searching for your purpose, by the end of this video, by the end of this audio, you're going to find it. No, you're not. And we're going to break down why. I'm aware that that's a bold statement. It's true. So listen to this, because this is the kind of crap that I'm just over. And this is what I hope that you get out of this podcast.
Searching for your purpose, by the end of this video, you're going to find it. I'm aware that's a bold statement, but it's true. I went from trying to end my life twice, going through 6 medical surgeries, being a single mom with severe depression, or bullying in high school, getting threats, beaten up every week, living with a chronic kidney disease that made me so sick that I had a lot of guilt for not always being there for my daughter, and so much more that will be too long for this video. So I went from that, like the universe, God, life was not on my side, to not only finding my...
Okay, I'm going to pause right there, because that's fucking bullshit. First of all, you're like dismissing it. Universe, God, whoever, whatever. Okay, that's just dismissing it. It's... And then she goes on to say, was not on my side. That's just straight up lie. That is a straight up lie. God is always on your side. Before you came into this world, in this life, into existence, he was on your side. You were created in his image. So he's always been on your side. To say a fucking lie like that, God was not on my side, meh. That is wrong. He's always on your side. And when you see that, when you really get that, when that clicks for you, you have the power, the ability, the strength of his power, his ability, his strength to constantly and continuously tap into, lean into, on your side. Tell me you don't want that on your side. So that was the first in this video. God is always on your side. But we love these stories like this, where we go from, I didn't know what my purpose was, to now I'm living a life beyond my most magnificent unicorn sprinkle rainbow dreams. My wildest dreams, like more than I could have ever imagined. The hero's journey story. It sells it every time. Like, look at movies, look at Disney princesses. It's just the way that things are in life, and it makes me smile and it makes me laugh. But when people use it in the wrong context, I'm like, oh, honey, let's shine some sprinkles of truth on this. Okay, we're going to continue.
Finding my purpose, but living a life that even in my wildest dreams, I couldn't even imagine. I'm going to give you some information before I put everything together. And there's a reason for that. You need to absorb those things to fully grasp your purpose. If you don't, you just scroll to the end, you won't get it. Watch this.
Okay. Hold on. You need to fully absorb those things to fully grasp your purpose. Okay. Here's the thing. She experiences and shares that she experienced and went through pain. All of us have. And Jesus knows the pain we went through. He went through more of it because he didn't get to lean into temptation or to lean into sin. He didn't get to numb out. He didn't get to go, you know what? I'm just going to go fucking trash and waste it with my friends and forget about it. I'm going to go sleep with some people and just have a good time, have a good life. Jesus lived the perfect life. He did not sin. He went into the desert for 40 days and he was tempted by the devil, more tempted than we could have ever imagined being. We were able to give into temptation. We were able to experience that temporary and momentary relief by giving into temptation and giving into sin. We got to lean into those things. And Jesus didn't. So he didn't get the outs that we got. That's where I kind of get a little like, oh my gosh, you don't need to live a crazy, really messed up life in every way to have purpose. You had purpose in your life before you were born. God had a purpose and a plan for you before you ever came into this world. And that's the title of this video, Find Your Purpose. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even mention Jesus one time. Like, this video is so misleading. You had a purpose in life before you were born because God had a plan and a purpose before you ever came into this world. That is what you need to fully absorb, understand, and grasp. And she goes on to share an interview clip with like a famous actor or something, and he talks about fame, and so I'm going to let you listen to that next.
It's a dangerous thing. It brings you to the highest of highs, traveling the world and having people scream your name. It makes you feel, quote, if you're listening, quote, loved. It makes you feel good. It does.
And valued too. I guess like finding your purpose.
Okay, we're going to pause there. You want to feel loved? You want to feel really, really loved? You want to feel really, really valued? Open up the door to beginning a relationship with Jesus. You really want to feel loved? You want to know his heart, his character, how he loved flawlessly without ever giving in to temptation or to sin? You want to really, really feel loved? Understand what he did for you. Understand the price he paid for you, that God is love. You want to find your purpose that makes you feel loved? Begin a relationship with him. Okay, here's where she goes on. She's like, it's just like finding your purpose.
This makes you feel loved, makes you feel valued. So I have two major questions. If you didn't find your purpose, would you still feel like you have value? The universe gives us what we give us.
Okay, stop right there. You may not know what your purpose is. I often still question it. That is a question I ask God all the time. Even before I felt like maybe this is it, I know what my purpose is. Or if I still have the questions of what is my purpose, I have no fucking clue what it is. It doesn't matter. You're still loved. You may not know what your purpose is, but you're still loved. You're still valued in his eyes. You don't need to know what your purpose is to be loved and to be valued in Jesus's eyes. He knows that you wrestle with that question. He knows that you're wondering, what's my purpose? What's my reason for being here? But that doesn't mean that until you find the right answer to the question, what's my purpose, that love is withheld or that your value is withheld. And it's like a prize that you win when you find your purpose. Oh, hey, knock, knock. Hey, Jesus, guess what? So I was just like walking along today and I like found this thing on the sidewalk. I picked it up and it was like, this is your purpose. And so now I know what my purpose is. Can I trade this in for the experience of being loved and valued? And he would look at you like, you're insane. You're crazy. You're already loved and you're already valued, regardless of whether or not you know what your purpose is or if your purpose changes. You were always loved and you're always valued, so you don't need to wait and say, universe, can you please tell me what my purpose is? Because once I know what it is, then I'll feel loved and valued. No, you're always loved, you're always valued, and you had a purpose before you were born. It's not like some secret like hide and seek game and you spend your whole life trying to find it and it's hiding from you and laughing at watching you run around looking for it, chasing it, and it's running away from you like a little kid playing tag. That's not the way this works. And when she says the universe gives us what it gives us, I was like, huh? Okay. A, first of all, you're putting your power in the creation, not the creator. A creation cannot give. It's done. It's done. It's created. A creation cannot give, and the universe is a creation. The creator can give. And that's what she says when she's like, the universe gives you what it gives you.
How do you expect the universe to give you what you can't even recognize in yourself? Your value does not depend on the car you drive, on the house you have, how successful you are, how much.
Okay, and then it goes on a little bit. Here's the thing. There's actually a story in the Bible. I don't know. Maybe you know. If you don't know, we'll find out together. That talks about potter and a clay. The potter and clay. The clay is the creation, right? And there's the potter, who's the creator. And the potter creates a pot. The creator creates the creation. The same thing, like when people say universe, you're talking about the creation. What you really need to be putting your worth, your life, your value, your love in the hands of is the creator, not the creation. So when people say the same with the universe, it's like, no, that's a creation. Why not go straight to the source, the creator? That's like going to the pot and saying, hey, can you help me out? And the pot is looking at you like, what do you expect me to do? I'm a pot. But if you were to go to the creator, the potter, and say, hey, can you help me out? I would love to have a mug to drink my coffee in and my water in every morning, but I don't have a mug. Could you create one for me? Maybe could we create a mug together? Could you teach me how to create a mug? And the potter, the creator is like, yeah, sure. I would love to. I love that you asked. Let's do this. Versus going to the pot that's like, how can I make you a mug? I'm just a pot. No. All right. Anyways, let's continue on with this video.
Much money you have, how smart you are, your value doesn't depend on you doing anything more than existing. Now
Whew, okay, another deep breath. Your value does not depend on anything more than you existing. Yes, but there's a but. Most people feel that they're merely existing. And when you feel that you're merely existing, you really have a tough time. You have a difficult time. You struggle with connecting with your value. And you think that you don't have value because you're merely existing. You're simply existing. And you don't desire to simply exist. And most people, when they're in that much deep emotional pain and they're out of a relationship with Jesus, feel like that's all they're doing. From my personal experience, it felt like that's all I was doing, merely existing. And if someone had said some bullshit line to me, your value doesn't depend on anything more than you existing. That moment when I idealized that bullet going through my skull is because I didn't want to exist anymore. I had no connection with my value. And ironically, I had no relationship with Jesus at that same time. So, someone had said a line to me like that, I would have been like, that's a crock of shit. You know that? And most people don't feel good by hearing that, but it's designed and inspired to try to make you feel better, to try to change the way you feel. But you really don't want your feelings to be changed because you're going to have them. You want your internal unconscious beliefs to be changed, the beliefs you have about yourself, about your worthiness, about your lovability, about your purpose, about your value. And there are beliefs that are far deeper, more strong, and more powerful. And when you believe in yourself, you believe in those things and who you are, it's because of who he is, because you believe in him. So many people are experiencing so much pain in existing that their thoughts were that they wish they never did. So videos like this often don't really help. Let's continue on.
You may feel on a soul level that you have something to give the world. You have a very big purpose. But how can you fulfill that purpose if you do not know your value? When you find your value and your worthiness just for being alive, just for existing, the universe, God, source energy will give you more of that.
Okay, here's the thing. God's not a genie in a bottle. A little bit of the truth to what she said. You have value because you exist. Yes. But you experience purpose at a soul level when you have a relationship with God. It barely feels like you're existing without a relationship with Him. So He's the one that places your purpose, your gifts, your special, unique gifts and talents within you. And then when you're connected with Him, when you have a relationship with Him, He lights up those gifts. Otherwise, it feels like a musician with the gift and talent of singing, but who's so scared and so afraid because they're living in a state of existing, comparing themselves to other incredibly talented, gifted musicians who've gone before them and tell themselves, my purpose isn't singing. My purpose isn't to be an artist or a musician because I'm not as good as they are. And so therefore that's not really my purpose. When you live without a relationship with God, it's like you live a relationship with shame, with pain, with comparison, with judgment. And when you live a relationship with God, it's like He lights up your gifts because He's the one that put them in you. He's the one that said, yes, they are great and we're great, and so are you in your own unique way. So there's really, when you experience those trouble and those hard times and those difficulties, you have someone to go to. You're not left in that struggle alone because He's the one that put them in you. He's the one that lights them up. Let's use this metaphor of a house. It's like you've got light switches in your house, and you've got the house, you've got the roof, you've got the walls, and you've got the switches, you've got the lamp, you've got the light bulbs. Like you have everything you need, right? Inside of this house. But you don't yet have a relationship with the electric company. You haven't opened up or developed this relationship with the electric company. We'll call the electric company God. She called it source, universe, spirit, whatever she called it. You haven't called God. You haven't called Jesus and invited Him into your life, into your home, if He's the electric company and He's the source, and said, hey, I want to have a relationship with you where you give me electricity every month, and every time I want to or need to, all I do is I go over there and I use the things that I already have inside this house. I have the switch, I have the light, I have the lamp, I've got the light bulbs, I got everything I need, but I also need you. Because when I go to that switch, when I walk over there and I click it, the light comes on. I need you. You're the electricity. You're the one I need a relationship with. If Jesus is the electric company and you give me that every month, every time, every day I need it. And in exchange, I give to you. In this example, you would give money. You would pay for the electricity. There's an open relationship and a connection. And that is opening up the relationship to really experiencing your lovability, your worth, your value, and your purpose. Yes, she's on the right track by saying you have a very big purpose and you may not know what your value is, but your value isn't diminished by not knowing your purpose. So let's continue on with what she says.
When you were a kid, you didn't think about your purpose of what greater thing you need to accomplish in this world. We're simply experiencing, existing. If a butter
I know a lot of kids who think about their purpose and who actually feel it and know what it is. They want to do big things. They want to be part of the change. They they see the pain and the injustice in the world, and they want to be a part of changing it. And when you really were a kid and you think about how pure and how honest you are, how unjaded you were by the world, you know that. I mean, I know I wanted to help people. I wanted to serve. I said when I was a kid, it was in the form of being a doctor or a vet, but it was really what it came down to, the purpose of serving, the purpose of giving, the same way that Jesus serves and has given us life because of his purpose and his existence. We didn't just stare mindlessly off at butterflies like she's saying and go, oh, butterfly. No, because we had the purposes in our heart and in our soul and in our mind before we were even born. So we were never just staring off mindlessly going, I don't have a purpose, and just existing. That's what existing is. Existing is feeling like you're living, but living without a purpose.
Butterfly flew by, you would watch it. A plane, you would observe it. If you find your purpose before you find self-value, it's like the video said, it's dangerous because
No, the thing is, the person who was speaking in the video had a purpose before they found that self-value. They just got off course and they became focused on other things, but that didn't mean that they didn't have a purpose. And that's where messages like this are very critical and very damaging.
because now your value is depending on that exterior purpose. So when that purpose is removed, or you are sick, or something happens in your life that you cannot fulfill that, you have no more value.
Bullshit. Just because you're sick doesn't mean that you have no more value. Just because you experience something externally doesn't mean that your purpose is in its hands. Your purpose is within you. And later she comes back around to say that. But I think this is really damaging and critical and negative to say. You have a very big purpose and you may not know your value, but your value isn't diminished by not knowing your purpose.
But you do. It's inside of you. Your soul, your consciousness, that energy making your body alive,
Yeah, that energy making your body alive is because Jesus has a purpose for you. He's placed value inside of you. And you're alive because he has a purpose for you. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. And it's not just some random flip a coin, heads or tails, is it this or that? It's special, it's gifted, and it's unique to you. And your value and your worthiness is in him because he's alive, because he exists, because he's got value, because he's got worthiness. It's not just some random energy that's making your body alive.
it knows your value and your worth.
It is Jesus. Is God. God knows your value. God knows you're worthy. And when you connect with him and when you align with him, you begin to feel that too. It's not just a random oops, mistake kind of thing.
You're worthy because you exist. To find your purpose, find your value.
Yeah, to find your purpose, find your value, but not without him, without a relationship with God and with Jesus. You're like, what purpose, what value, why am I here? And you spin circles around trying to find answers to those kind of questions. So I get a little heated when I watch videos like this. Someone sent this to me. Someone in the comments shared, my value has always been a tough question to answer. My value is just being alive, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And this creator sent that person another video. What's the point of life? The point of life is to have a relationship with the creator of life. So you guys can co-create, have a beautiful, wonderful life together, dependent on him. Someone else went on to comment, great video, but I no longer feel like I have this big purpose. I'm very content with just being present and enjoying life. I've lived a life without Jesus in my life and a life with, and I will tell you, my life is so much more at ease, at peace, at contentment with him, not just staring at butterflies, and airplanes flying by. I love you guys. I invite you to take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and allow these words to come in. Jesus Christ, come into my life. I hear you knocking. Come on in. You will connect with your purpose, your value, in and through your relationship with Him. If you haven't yet, I invite you, go pick up a Bible and just begin reading. If you want to, start with Psalms, start with Proverbs, start with the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the life and stories of Jesus. And at first, if you're anything like me, they may be confusing, and it's all okay. Read anyway. Love you. Praying for you. Bye for now.